right. Wife asks for open marriage. I ask for a divorce.
So we're back. Welcome to Couple of J's. I'm your host, PJ,
And MJ.
and we're here to bring you some exclusive. We've been gone for a little minute. I know we always say that, but
We
nah, we
suck.
we've actually been gone. We was in Puerto Rico
That's
this
true.
past week, so we weren't able to put out any podcast. But we're back. We should be good and consistent for a little while now, right?
Okay, so today we're starting off with something pretty juicy, I feel like. And crazy. And I don't know. People will have their opinions. So let's get into it. All right. Wife asks for open marriage. I ask for a divorce. Let's see what that's about. I'm wondering if I had jumped the gun or have been reasonable here. We have been married for 12 years now. Things have always been great without any particular up or down. My wife has always been a kind, sweet woman, and up until this, I thought the world of her. And then she went and broached the talk about open marriage. Crazy. What if we consider opening up marriage? Because all of her friends did it and it's 2024. I didn't get angry or anything like that. I just listened and offered my counters. I asked her if friends are influencing her into this. She said no. I asked her if she already had someone in mind. That's the first thing I would
Right.
think. Like, who do you
Yeah.
got
Like
in
who
mind?
the hell you
Who
got
are
in
you thinking
mind?
about? She said no. I asked her to give me some time to think about it, and she agreed, stating we don't have to do it if I'm not up for it. I shouldn't have, but in the days after I checked her phone and lap times, nothing suspicious or that suggests she was cheating already. Last week, I told her I thought about it, and in my opinion, she can date anyone she wants because I want a divorce.
Sheesh.
And I
Listen.
do the damn thing. I do the same thing.
But I mean, no, I'm not defending her whatsoever. I
I
think,
mean,
but like everybody's relationship dynamic is different. Why? Like there would be so many questions that I would have for her. I would have so many questions like, like, am I not good enough, or am I not
right.
satisfying you
Mm-hmm.
in these areas, or, at that point, like, am I obviously open relationship means I get to go explore now. Are you gonna be comfortable with
Well,
that?
clearly that's what an open relationship is. It's, hey, babe, I can go date, you can go date. We're in this marriage. We can go have fun. There's no boundaries. I can do it and you can't. So yeah, clearly that's what an open relationship
I
is.
would be
But
with him. I think that
you agree
the
with
fact
him?
that she wants to go and do
Crazy.
it is nuts.
Especially if he always seen her as like
Innocent, sweet,
kind.
kind, but those be the ones that be like surprising you. Those
Listen.
innocent, sweet, kind of women. MJ.
Yeah, whatever. I ain't that sweet. I'm a
Yeah.
little bitter, psych. Not bitter, but um yeah, I don't know, that's crazy. I would think the same thing, obviously. Like, I think my first initial thought is like, nah, we're done. I probably would go right to that. Like
Right.
resort right to that
Well,
option.
but this goes along with you are who you surround yourself with. What she said was, I was all my friends are doing it. They're all in open relationships. I want to try it. So her surroundings are influencing her decisions on what she wants from it. This may be something that she totally never even thought of, but because her friends are doing it, because she thinks that it's working for them, I think that's why she approached him about it. But I don't think this is something internally that you
No.
just
I think
decide you want to do.
no, I don't think her friends are doing it. I think he asked that question like, are your friends influencing you in any way?
Oh,
And
okay.
she said no.
This is just all on her. I just wonder if she doesn't feel satisfied. If that's what's the
Boredom always comes to that. I feel like boredom always comes resorts back to that as well.
yeah. And why would you get married if in the back of your mind you
No,
knew
this
that?
12 years of marriage.
Yeah, but 12 years ago, like, if you knew you were gonna be like,
I don't think she knew. I think this is now 12 years is a long time for changes.
it is actually. It
12 years
is.
is a long time for changes. So you can be one person, one day, and then you could be a completely different person the next. Your mind changes between those years and body, everything. So I don't know.
I
That's
don't think that
just
that's appropriate, and I don't think that's respectful, and I think she just crosses the boundary when she does that, because you got to think about it. We're 12 years in. Like, if you want an open relationship, if you want to go explore, go do that on your own.
I feel like she felt comfortable enough to even bring it up. I mean, you have to
Do you think
have
that they discussed that in the beginning of their relationship?
no, because he sounds very like
Surprised by it?
surprised, and yeah, that would be a no go for me. Immediately, would probably wouldn't even want the marriage anymore. And I mean, that's 12 years, so it's easier said than done. So being in that actual predicament, that's kind of hard to say because you've been with someone for that's a pretty long time to be in a
12
marriage.
years, yeah.
And
12
you have
years
to
is
think about it. You date before that.
absolutely.
So I think again, she hit a point in her life, and I wish there was an age on here because it would be a little easier to even go by that as well. Like,
Right.
is this a
Well,
younger
12
woman?
years, you just got to be like, they're definitely full adults. Probably started dating in their 20s, and they're probably now in their 30s, or maybe in their 30s and now in their 40s. But either way,
Who
I
knows?
just think that I don't think I can I'm not that mature.
I don't think
Like,
I don't think you
I'm not that
can.
mature.
I don't think maturity plays a role in that though.
It is, because if you can be mature enough to like understand her perspective and her standpoint, and kind of be like, you got to have a certain level of emotional intelligence to be able to handle what she just said, and to even be like, I'll give you an answer in a couple days.
Emotional intelligence, yes. Maturity, I don't think plays a role in that. That's a whole different ball game when it comes to maturity. Like you
And
said,
why,
you called it
to play devil's
disrespect.
advocate, why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't let's Because if you've only known me, if you've only been with me, right? And you knew nothing else, and I knew you knew nothing else, wouldn't you want to explore a little bit?
If only been me and you.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think
You
that
get
that would raise?
curious.
Right. You would get curious. You would want to know.
You get curious, but it's like to what point, like where do where's that line at? Where you're to the point where you're like, I'm gonna go speak to my man about
I think I don't know. The fact that she did feel comfortable enough to go and even ask him.
and that's a great thing. I feel like right there, that
Yeah.
communication or having that open
But
communication.
like, don't come talk to me about that stuff. That's disrespectful.
Exactly.
Uh,
You can't say, but you can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't say mature, and then you
yeah.
can't put disrespect next to that. It doesn't make it. Just doesn't go. Maturity is something completely
Or
different.
am I immature for not being able to handle you being able to
No,
express yourself?
but that's where you say emotional intelligence, right? You just need to have emotional intelligence to be able to communicate, understand maybe that side of the person and where they're coming from, and like he said, he had to think about it,
Hmm.
right? So for me, I can think about it right there. Okay, it ain't gonna take me no days to think about it. Now, the only time
Yeah, but you're
is
saying
if
that now. What about 12 years
right.
from now?
So unless that has been something on my mind, unless that's something I don't care about, and I know what comes with that, you're basically sharing your partner. And
Right.
if you're okay with that on both ends, then that's on you. And that's at that time, if if I'm okay with that, then hey, see how that works? Because he could have been okay with it. He could have been
But
in.
what if, okay, so now let's role reverse. Let's say the guy wants to have an open
Well, that's
relationship.
what I'm saying.
Isn't that more relevant than the girl wanting it? Or you think girls nowadays are just reckless and they're just, this is what's happening in 2024?
No, that was crazy.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know. But it's like, it's either that or she ends up cheating and the relationship's over anyway.
Or no, or
I,
she accepts the fact that okay, I tried it, I put it out there, and if he doesn't want to do that, then I'm gonna have to deal with what it is. It could even be like a woman wanting to explore another woman. Now, if your man is like, Fuck no. Oh, I don't know if you can see that here.
You can, you can. Babe, we've been doing this for a long time now. You
but I
can
don't know if I
definitely
want
swear.
to. Okay, so if the man is like, no, like we're in a relationship, that's going out, like, you know, in that way,
I'm like, I feel like this. And this
she's
is
either gonna deal with it and be like, okay, I will never get to explore what I think I want, or whatever, you know, feelings or emotions that person has in the moment,
right.
right? And just deal with it and be in their relationship. Or she could be like, well, I don't want to be with you. Or she might go behind your back. It's
I
all the
think
same.
I think this. I think the level of maturity and the guts it took for her to go and even bring that conversation up is cool.
I would
I
want
think
that.
him being allowing her to be like, no, we'll get a divorce or we'll go our separate ways. You go explore your thing because I don't want to know about it.
Because clearly
I
you want
would
to go
be
somewhere else.
as an individual, you're allowed to do whatever you want. That's what I truly feel, right? But within this relationship, there's boundaries, there's things you don't do, and there's things that you're not allowed to do within the relationship because of how the relationship is set up.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never stop you from wanting to go explore. But you just
Right.
wouldn't be I just wouldn't be with you.
And I'm not holding you back either.
Right.
If I feel like there's something else that my partner wants out in the world, you think I'm going to be here to stop it? No, absolutely not. That's embarrassing.
Right.
Not only is that embarrassing,
But what if they have like a
but
good dynamic, a good structure, like the way they live, their living is great, and I'm sure that's probably why she brought it up because like their dynamic is great. Like she probably knows exactly her role. She's used to her role. He's used to his role. The way they live is great, but there's just curiosities that need to be explored.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like she doesn't want to lose the living situation
Or
which
what
is
she has, because I don't think she doesn't know what she has in the man. I mean, we don't really obviously know
right.
the details of these people, but I feel like the way that she came to him was mature of her in that end.
Yes.
And I feel like
I think
he's
she, in the back of her mind she was thinking about cheating. And so in her mind she's like, okay, if I could be upfront about this. I don't have to lie to him. I don't have to be deceitful. I'm going to ask him if we can have an open relationship because I think at this point my emotions for the relationship are probably not there.
so
For
that
her to
makes me
be able to
think.
say that means she's not emotionally attached to the relationship.
Right. And so that's what I
So
was going to go with right here with if your partner is okay with you doing that or exploring your options while being in the relationship, do you think your partner really loves you?
I think there's a love for the person. I don't think there's a in
In
love.
love.
They're not in love.
Right.
And because you have to have a certain level of like love for a person, to not go and
I kind
see
of want
them
to
with
say
someone else.
attachment in a
Like
way,
I
but a
feel
healthy
like
attachment.
yeah, like I can't see being with you, I can't see you with anyone else. And if you were wanted to be with someone else, I would have to not see you.
Right.
The minute that I feel like I can see you with someone else and it's okay and I'm okay with you being sexually active with someone else while
Yeah.
being with me means I'm just not in a
You let
relation.
go.
Yeah, I'm not in a relation. I
And
don't
I
even care what you
completely
do.
agree.
I'm just, I'm
And I
just trying to keep our
completely agree.
situation and just go and do whatever I want to go do. And that's just a polite way of saying that. I feel like
I feel like, yeah, once you stop caring, because we all have those strong emotions, especially in the beginning or once you've grown with that person,
right,
your emotions and that healthy or unhealthy attachment is there for
right,
sure, right?
right,
So
yeah,
where you get the jealousy, sometimes you get the insecurities, you question yourself or the person you're with, or, in certain ways, when you're still learning them or you're
yeah,
still new in the relationship, there's still those things. I feel like once you lose that, you are mentally checked out and you no longer, like you said, have
an
that
emotional,
love
yeah, or that
for that
emotional
partner
attachment to the
anymore.
person, right?
And that is when, for yourself, so once that feeling goes and you know that, and that feeling no longer hurts your heart, and you're like,
That's a scary place to be.
it's no, I feel like it's so relieving.
To
Oh,
be there?
yes.
Why?
Because you have to think about it. The stresses.
Get the fuck. I don't want to be with you.
What do you mean?
Because what do you mean? That's a good. That's a relief.
No, like if someone. So no. So
We're
say
done. We're done. We're done. She's trying to
last
find
pod.
relief.
No. So what I'm saying is that I'm thinking about it also in a way of like, say you deal with a man that gives you a lot of bullshit, right? That you love, you're attached to, and you hold on to them. When you finally get to that point of just like not caring anymore with the shit that this man or woman is putting you through, it's a relief. And I kind of thought about it in that way.
I think it's unless the relationship is so toxic to the point where when you finally cut away from it,
yeah, well, that's toxic.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
I think that when you are in a normal situation or a healthy situation or a good situation, and in the moment you're probably feeling like, well, I'm not really as in love with this person, or I feel like I want to go and explore and go and do other things, that once you're done exploring, those emotions will set in after. Like the emotions of what you just lost or what you had or your dynamic or how you guys were able to work with each other within the relationship, the love you had within that relationship, that eventually arises at some point after you're done with the bullshit, after you're done with your selfish behaviors. Those emotions arise, those thoughts arise, and you start to question yourself on, did you make the right decision?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you were with somebody where the dynamic was good and everything worked, and sweet, kind person, and the husband takes care of his wife. And I think when you go and make a deceitful decision like cheating, or you go and want to have an open relationship, I think that's just a temporary emotion, and you're not thinking long term.
Definitely temporary emotion. That's why people who are in relationships at a young age and only with that person for so long, they start to think like, okay, I've never got to experience anything else. So that's why I say those thoughts and that curiosity comes to mind. And I think that's in relationships, I feel like that's just bound to happen, and maybe not that specifically, but in other ways, unless you truly know yourself in your relationship and you're truly okay with what you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's only when you're not 100%
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like people start to go outside of that in their minds.
I think these things are happening with people that are unaware of how they want to approach the relationship and the long-term goal of the relationship. I think nowadays people are a little bit more aware, so like they're entering things in a way where like, what's the goal? Let's get on the same page. Let's communicate about where we want to be, what we want to do, how we want to live. And I don't think that people are as lost anymore. This is why relationships are ending quickly, or they're just not even able to get to the marriage part of things, because it's like we've communicated enough to where we understand what we're getting out of this relationship, and they both have an understanding, like, all right, like for instance, you and I, we've communicated the long-term effect of our relationship. We know where we want to go. We know in 12 years, what we want to do, where we want to be, and our mindset on the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
the forever goal.
So I don't think that in the older generation, you could even say millennials, that people were getting into relationships as communicative as they are now, because it's everywhere. It's all over social media. Like the whole communication game is all over, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
People have more of an understanding, but I think that's why there's all-time high of like people being single, because it's like, all right, this person doesn't have the things that I need to be able to sustain a long-term relationship. This is going to be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
And
we've talked about it before. Sometimes it's also people who try to want a perfect person for them, and that's really not how it works. Right. You can't have a perfect person. You always, no matter what, you're gonna have to build each other up in some way, because one is always going to lack. Right. So yeah, definitely. And so that makes me go in and want to say, or even ask, how do you let go or unattach yourself to past relationships or friendships? And what do you do when you can't let go?
Um, Unhealthy relationships.
No, healthy, unhealthy. So start with healthy because I feel like,
Healthy relationships. Sometimes you outgrow a situation, right? So
which
sometimes
I'm also saying, like in a case, like say like this, say something just so random, one argument, right? One impulsive decision or one question asked that made one partner uncomfortable and went into a whole divorce or breakup. Like after that, how do you unattach yourself to what have you been so like used to, or the person that you love?
I think you have to be able to understand your boundary, understand your what you will and will not allow, and stand on that no matter your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we did get into like a little argument and it was serious enough to where I'm like, you crossed my boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're a good person and I
Mm-hmm.
know that you have, a good heart and things like that. And you probably did this out of a mistake, but you crossed my boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you have to be able to deal with your emotions the best way you can. I don't think there is a right way to walk away from a situation that you felt was good, in your heart, or any good friendship or anything like that. Like once you're ready to walk away, it's really a standard that you have to be willing to live by or die by, right?
Yeah, I think.
And it's more than just your emotional attachment to the relationship. It's got to be, how do you care about, how much do you feel about yourself? And the more you understand yourself, if you're acting within a selfish manner, or like, am I over, like, you have to understand yourself enough to be able to be like, am I overreacting? Is this really affecting me? So you have to ask yourself all
Mm-hmm.
the right questions before
Before you
you.
go making that
Yeah,
decision.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really important, but people can also be very impulsive at the same time. But regardless of being impulsive, or the whole breaking up part, and what you were saying, I think the biggest part after all of that when it comes to relationships or friendships is the attachment. So like I said, like how do you go through life again, okay, without someone that you were so used to? And I'm talking friendships, relationships, all that. How do you get
By being
unattached?
self-reflective,
Can I
by
also say, wait, before you even continue, to get a little deeper, like I feel like with attachment, we know comes, it kind of feels like that person has sticked to you. So you're constantly thinking about them. You may get emotional around in your day because thoughts or memories or
right.
something like that. So I also want to add that in there too. It's like how and I'm not saying you're no god and because this we all still try to figure
Yeah,
out.
of course. But I think
That's the hard part.
the best way to really, that I think, to really go about it is by being self-reflective enough, like not just putting the onus on them, like understanding your actions within the
Yeah.
situation as well, right? So like, I need to get better as an individual. What did I do to get myself in a situation where I'm removing myself from a good relationship, via friendship or, boyfriend or girlfriend? I think understanding yourself more and putting that mirror up, so that way you can become better and then attract better. So like, if you don't want these reoccurring situations to happen, then you have to be able to be self-reflective enough to be able to fix the things that cause that situation to arise. So it could not be your fault, but you could understand, like, well, why did I allow these things to happen to me? What about me that happened within myself that I allowed even a person like that to come into my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or what did I do for this situation to arise? Like, it all has to do with yourself, and that's how you move forward, because the purpose of life is to elevate and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Is to get better as an individual, and sometimes we revert back to old
Oh
behaviors.
yeah, it's easier to do that than
So it's
grow up.
constantly self-reflecting, constantly putting that mirror up, allowing you know you to be human. Like, people have to allow themselves to be a human being, right? And within being a human being, that means making mistakes. That means reverting back to old behaviors. That means maybe not handling the situation the best way. Maybe not,
Recognizing
yeah,
going back to those old behaviors.
right. Like being imperfect. So like the minute we understand that we're all imperfect and we have that platform to be imperfect, that people, like you said, aren't coming perfect, then that's the start of like, all right, let me start to self-reflect, because the goal is to become like God, right? That's why he laid the platform out, is to become like him. He gives us the ways to be like him and his perfection and his image. So he made us within his image, knowing that we would make mistakes. This is why he forgave us, you know, ahead of us even knowing, right? Like he forgave us before we even knew we were supposed to be forgiven. And that was for a reason, because we come imperfect. So knowing that, staring at yourself in the mirror and understanding that, adjusting, wanting to get better, um that's how you move forward from relationships that aren't healthy for you, or you feel like you have to move away from, or you feel like, because sometimes nothing may happen, right? Like
Right.
you can be in like you could have friends around you and they're just not doing the things that you feel like equate to where you want to be or where you're trying to go in life, and so it involves separation.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes they may not be doing anything wrong, but you have to understand yourself enough to know, like, I'm trying to prosper and grow and I'm trying to elevate into a different place in my life. So I have to remove myself from these things. And although those memories and those things were, magical in the moment, and you may revert back to those memories and be like, dang, I remember we used to do this, or I remember we used to do
Mm-hmm.
that. But, the discipline to be able to like understand, like, all right, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to get better, and although these memories were great, it no longer serves me. Those things, going to the club, doing all that those things no longer serve me, because my purpose is greater.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that understanding yourself, your purpose, and who you are, I think that's how you move forward
We
from.
got a real. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, real, yeah, right there. No, but completely. I that was deep,
Yeah.
truly. And you said that wonderfully. I mean,
I feel like
'cause-
God was speaking through me.
yeah. Honestly, I got a little emotional.
Yeah.
I could cry right now.
Cry.
Put out there like you did. I like that. That was like I can go look back at that and be like, all right,
Yeah.
remember that. Always. I feel like I say that and I ask that because I know attachment is so hard. And I say that usually, not usually, but I say that because of me. I
Hmm.
think about how I've handled things, and I'm someone that, like I've always said, I could let you go and I could never look back, right? But
Why do you feel like you could just let someone go and not look back? Like,
I think it's
do
just
you feel like
stubbornness. But I
so you feel
grew
like
out
your
of
your
that a little.
stubbornness is kind of robbing you of having valuable people in your life?
No. They definitely weren't valuable. I felt
No,
like
I'm
if
just
they were
saying, like,
valuable though, so I've had points where it's easy to be like, you get to a breaking point sometimes too with some people where it's
mhm,
just like, oh, I keep doing this with you.
yeah,
Like, and it truly is showing me it doesn't serve me. It's only fucking me up. So it's like at some point you gotta say, I love you, I can't.
yeah,
And there's times like that with people or friends, I would say friends, where I've been like, I think about those memories and I'm like, oh, like the way this person made me feel. We just had so much fun. Like our laughs, like no one ever made me laugh like this. Like our
right.
our vibe, our energy was just
But
everything
do you
until it
feel, but,
wasn't.
but do you feel like people allow their stubbornness to rob them of valuable people? Like, for instance, let's say I was the toxic one
Mhm.
and you are truly a good person, but because I'm stuck in my own ways, right? You do something and then like it's like, okay,
That
fuck.
cyclicity.
Then it's like, okay, fuck it. Like I don't we don't need to be in each other's life, knowing that you're of value.
Like, you could have worked hard towards the relationship and
Right.
fixed it.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that people do that.
Yeah.
And I think that it does mess them up. But I think life goes on.
Yeah.
So it's like to that point of when you let someone go and you already moved on and you done cut them out your life, you're no longer looking back. It just is what it is. You will never know what the changes this person could have made in your life in a positive way.
But sometimes they say, like, when like, let's say like you and I got into an argument and then I became angry, they say like survival mode is biased to negative energy, because it's we as human beings tend to want to create a positive environment for us, even though we may have created a negative environment within the relationship or something. Like, it's in our human nature to remove negative energy, to want to you know what I'm saying, even though that you may have not been wrong in that situation, but because me and you keep becoming like negative energy every time we talk, or every time we, like, and you may be a good person or maybe I may be a good person, it's in our instinct to want to remove ourselves from that thing in order to survive and move forward. You know, so they say like we're biased to negative energy. Like, human beings are biased to negative energy, because the minute something negative happens, we tend to want to like remove ourselves from it, which is good, but it's not healthy if you don't communicate through it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we kind of bring up relationships and why they don't last as long and stuff like that.
Right.
Because no one really wants to communicate
and work through it and work through their own shit.
Yeah,
you
get
know,
so
like,
angry. You get so. This is what I say. You get so angry. You get so impulsive. You're just like, bump you out. I could go find someone else. But
like,
it doesn't make it easier.
We sometimes get caught in that shit. Like,
oh,
you and I get caught in the, I'll leave you right now. Like, oh, you gonna
yeah.
You gonna test me? Don't
do
it. Don't
no,
you
I can do it. I'm getting my shit tonight.
Yeah. And then I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. And you know what? That's so funny. Because I feel like
she ain't going nowhere.
Everyone.
She talking tough right now.
Nah, because you really be, don't test me. Don't test me. I want to test.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see what?
We'll see what. Motherfucker. What we doing? Because
this is you started that timer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But it's so that comes from
but we just have to work through it.
Yes.
Not saying us, but like, people just stop thinking. Like, when you have something good, stop thinking the grass is greener on the other side, because I promise you, like, sometimes it's really not. Like, most of the time it's not, and we talk about that all the time. And I don't know if we've said this on the pod before, but we got to think about it too. Like, we go through shit. We're not perfect in the relationship.
Right.
We struggle with certain things. There's things that he does I don't like. There's things that I do that he don't like, fuck with, whatever, hates. We're just, but we say, like, no matter what, we have to work through it and communicate until, you get to a point where it's like, no. But we have to think, like, the grass is not greener on the other side. If you think you're going to find someone exactly like this, you might not ever find it. Or you could. But it's very hard out here in this world. And
once you have like a good setup or a good partnership,
work on it. If the love is there, if you feel like you can rebuild it, if you feel
Hold
like...
on, you about to give all the toxic relationship hope. If you're toxic,
this is not for the toxic. All right, this is not for the toxic or the narcissist or no. It's not for those.
I just think that, and like I said, because it's not our instincts to want to separate
as soon as something goes wrong.
Yeah, when a negative situation happens, we have to learn how to communicate through that negative energy, because what happens is like, when you and I are arguing, the argument comes from a misunderstanding. That's all it is. It's just literally I'm trying
two different perspectives.
Yeah, I'm trying to communicate something to you that you're not understanding, and you're trying to communicate something to me that I'm not understanding. So the minute it becomes a battle of who's gonna understand, then that's where the argument and the bias comes in, right? So we have to get to a point where, like, even though I don't understand you, I have to hear you. I have to be able to hear what you're saying to me,
You know,
right?
and I think that's something that also in a relationship that you have been in maybe so long, sometimes when you don't stop yourself in those tracks to be like, let me just listen. You know, and you're quick to talk or respond because as soon as you hear something that's wrong, you want to fix what they're saying. I
Right.
think that is like the main problem sometimes too, is like, wait, I didn't say that. And it's like, now you're louder. And it's just
and
like
then it just gets
constant like
crazy.
bickering. And I
Yeah.
think as we talk right now, that is something that we just, I'm not saying me and you, but I feel
Us
like that
as
happens.
humans,
Yeah,
yeah.
us as humans, it happens, and we just have to sit there and listen. And sometimes, and I said this before, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and just let someone have it, and that's hard.
Right.
But sometimes you have to put that stubbornness and that pride aside and just let them have it, because you know deep down what the truth is.
Yeah.
You know what your truth is, and I'm talking to me.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm talking to me. Nah, but you know what your perspective is and how you feel about a situation that may differ from how your partner feels.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yo, outside of that though, our fucking Puerto Rico trip was fire. I had a great time.
Would live there for one day.
We need to actually come up with a game plan to eventually
live there?
Yeah, or at least live there for a couple months out of the year.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Like, you guys, I would learn Spanish in a month if I lived in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. It's their coffee.
Oh my God, don't even get me started.
Their coffee is
If you guys are coffee lovers,
oh my God,
go to Puerto Rico. I wish we could have the exact place that we went to. Do you remember the first spot that we went to?
I don't remember. It was on our way to we're passing Luquillo. It was like on our way to what's that freaking
I don't know. Anyways, just go try it.
It was right next to El Junque.
It was the first place we stopped by just to go get some breakfast.
I feel like every spot's coffee was great.
I don't know, but that one you said that you didn't ask for anything specific, like
nah, she just hit it right on the head.
Bruh, Bing. You guys, we just went somewhere and stopped for breakfast real quick. I took a sip of it. Euphoric. It was like I just took some crazy ass drugs. Like it was just like what the hell? Like maybe I'm over exaggerating for some people, but for me, I was like, this is the best coffee I've ever had. Like, yeah, I could not believe it.
I felt that way when I went to Cali.
I would love to see what you're talking about, because if it tops that, man.
Yeah, it's
you couldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah, no, that coffee was hitting. Just everything, like the food, how they make it, their seasonings. My uncle knows how to cook. Oh my God. He made an eggplant. Eggplant. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. It's just different. MJ was out there sipping coconut water straight out the coconut. Pineapple.
Nah, baby, I gave that to him. I was ready for that pina colada. Yeah. Give me all the pina. Oh my God, so good.
We ended up taking a plane to Flamenco Island, which is Culebra. That was fucking amazing.
That's why we're so dark,
small
guys.
plane, yeah.
I said we are outside every day. He said, "Oh, give me a break."
Yo, she wanted to be in the sun every day, and I'm over here burning. Yeah, I was cooked. I'm like, my skin can't take any more sun. Like it's crazy, and that's because we don't have much sun out here.
Man,
in Connecticut, there's not a lot of sun.
Can I be honest? When we had to leave, I cried. I shed tears. I was holding back for sure, but I definitely shed some tears. I said, I can't believe it.
I think it was just the airport was so cold.
Like, no, before we were...
This is what Connecticut gonna feel like?
I was dreading leaving from the point of like the last day at the beach.
Which was a good time. That last day was
the food was terrible there.
Yeah, the food. Yeah, but that's because
that was like a hotel thing.
Yeah,
it's
like a tourist spot.
But yeah, don't go to the tour. Like, I mean, they're all kind of like that in that area, which is still good. But that specifically, some places that are very tourist. What would you say?
Friendly, like
heightened.
Yeah, heightened. Yeah.
Don't go. No, don't. But yeah, last day of the beach, my last pina colada, I think about every day. And last day at your family's, I was just like, I couldn't,
Oh
I
my
couldn't
God, you got
fathom.
you and Loki had a nice
Loki
look.
was this
Loki
little,
was this little dog that my uncle
you
had. He
could
was
literally put
so
it in one
tiny. Yeah, you could put
hand.
him in. You could fit him
His
in a hand.
his eyes were like this. He was
And
like,
MJ, for some reason, all the animals attracted her. I'm gonna put it somewhere up on the
yeah, I
screen
was
of
gonna
all
say.
the animals that attracted to her that either followed her when we were on the private island,
Yeah.
or the dog that my uncle had, or there was a dog outside of my uncle's house that liked her.
Yo,
The cat,
when I first went to your uncle's
the
house,
monkey,
no, that the monkey was the only
the monkey
downfall.
slapped the shit out of you.
He slapped the shit out of me. He bit me. I said, "Oh, he just got anxiety right now. I have to understand."
Yeah.
But when you went to your uncle's for the first day, them dogs came out running to me like they knew me. Like, "Oh, she's back." I'm like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah.
I ain't never see you guys before, but I loved it. It was amazing. It was hard.
Yeah,
to
Puerto Rico
leave.
has a mixture of everything. There's so much to do. Like, if you want to go and party, they have nothing but partying out there. Like, it's La Placita is just lit.
Go early.
Yeah.
Go around like, what time do we go the first
8
day?
o'clock.
Did we? Right.
Because 10 o'clock,
Seriously.
11 o'clock, you could barely walk around. And we're talking about blocks. It's
You
like
ain't getting
blocks.
into no, yeah,
This isn't just like a club. This is blocks of many different clubs, many different spots.
I wish we had something like that down here.
There's so many people visiting from all over the world
Oh my
that
God, it's so cool.
it's just a multicultural,
I
mostly
love it.
Spanish, but multicultural area where you get like, so many different
Russians,
right.
You
Indians,
get all type, yeah,
Asians, blacks, Puerto Ricans,
which we're used
whites,
to that here.
Yeah.
We're used to that here,
But these people are not just from the United States. They're from different
like the
places.
actual,
yeah.
yeah. I've had someone stop
And
me
it's just
talk
blocks
to me.
and blocks and blocks full of people and clubs and bars, and there's no cover. You could just walk in, walk out. Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah, never been in that.
Our
type of
Airbnb
environment.
was right next to that spot, so it was kind of tough to sleep, but outside. But we
was slumped. No, when it was time for bed, we was out.
Yeah, there was one night that
Only thing that kept me up was the cookie. I was like, yo, go to bed.
When do you think we're gonna visit there again?
Next week. So I booked the flights. Imagine.
Yeah, sure.
No, guys, I really wanted to live there. I even told him, like, what if we just lived out here for a couple months? He's like, we got jobs. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I forgot. But I feel like,
I mean, if you guys want to cash app us,
no, I feel like it's very magical, and I feel like you can go there with different intentions every time and come back just like feeling amazing. I mean, we went there for like having fun, whatever. But next time, if we were to go
celebrated
in there,
her birthday.
Yeah, next time if we were to go in there with like spirituality next time or something like that.
Then there's no clubs if we do that.
Yeah, I know.
We're straight on land.
I know.
Feet.
Land, yeah. Eat the way we eat, everything,
Yeah.
walking, running, like everything that consists of that. Like
Yeah.
you can go into it any way that you like, and no matter what, you're gonna come out like, wow. I definitely recommend that to be a trip if you haven't went already.
How did you feel coming back? Like here, like already here.
So one, I was extremely exhausted, so that didn't help. It was rainy, cloudy. Must I go on?
Just shitty.
Must I go on?
Yeah.
It was.
Why do we choose to live here? What the fuck?
We didn't choose. Our parents did, and we just choose to stay, and that's the problem. I don't choose to stay. I would leave with no penny in my pocket, but I'd find a way to shake something for some site.
That's crazy.
Nah, I'd work out la placita and make some cash or something. I don't know. I'd figure it out. It's worth it. It's beautiful. I said I could do this my whole life.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to raise kids there.
Dang, so your kid would know Spanish.
Yeah.
Before I knew English.
No.
Yeah.
I'm English. I'm not gonna be like, hola baby, oh my, like start speaking Spanish.
Oh yeah. Do you think your baby becomes fluent?
Not unless we go to that other side with the real,
gualabalas.
yeah. I would
Yeah.
have to definitely get some practice in. Take some lessons.
Honestly though, like I do love going to different places or taking vacation, but when it's something about like being in your home that you've established. Doesn't matter if your home is here or wherever it's at. When you get back to home, it's kind of like, ah, all right, we're
Yeah,
home.
because at the end of the day, this is every day. This is
Yeah.
what you wake up to,
Yeah.
and you know that you're
Like
closer to the people.
if all these things were, or all our things was in Puerto Rico, that would be home. We would be like, oh, okay, like
Yeah,
this feels good.
but like, come on now, we've been here for how long?
Yeah.
But regardless, I want to get
I
out.
think we're definitely gonna make a move at some point. We're not staying
One
in
minute it's
Connecticut.
AZ, and
The next it's Puerto Rico, and the next might be Florida, but
we might be
it's
everywhere.
anywhere but Connecticut.
Anywhere where the sun shines.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of homes, speaking of homes, let me ask you this.
So the way you segue into questions is so funny, but go ahead.
I'm new at this, not true. All right. Do you think that it's important to get along with your partner or the person you're dating's family? And is it a deal breaker if you don't, regardless of how amazing the person is and how much you love them?
Ooh, man. I've actually experienced this.
But did you like them truly?
No.
Deep. Okay, so let's get that out.
Wait, did I like the person that I was talking to?
Like, would you have gone further with them for sure?
I
Was it that important? Like,
I know that I didn't care about what their family thought, what they thought of me or what I thought of them. I didn't care for them. I still don't care for them. Is I don't think you can have a good relationship without a loving family behind the person.
Yeah, I agree.
I think family does affect your relationship.
It's the foundation.
Yeah.
Always.
Like for instance, like when like my family loves you, your family loves me. Like when we go over for Thanksgiving,
there's no
oh my God, it's just a beautiful environment, flowing. Everybody loves you. Everybody's talking.
Dancing,
when I go over
drinking,
to your family,
MJ, you want our shots?
Yeah. When I go over your families, it's nothing but warm and welcoming.
PJ, how much rice you want?
Yeah, like they treat me so well. So I think that is very important. I don't think that you can. I think it's selfish to go into a relationship and only you guys like each other, and then the family's like,
no, it is
like, no,
yeah,
because I most of the time they're the ones outside looking in. So they know you best, probably sometimes better than you know yourself. So when they're telling you something isn't good for you, just listen. Just listen. Like it's not.
And there's cases that sometimes they think they know,
Right.
But you're on a whole different.
There can be overbearing
frequency.
family members that are entitled, and you have to know the difference. You have to know the difference between when you have a loving family that cares for you, that's gonna,
good intentions,
have your best interests at heart, and you have to know when you have a family that's overbearing. But a lot of times they know. Yeah. A lot of times they have a feeling, or they could just sense something for you, that this person is good for you.
Right. And they have experience and a long lot of years of experiences.
Right. So no, I do to answer your question, I do believe that both families should get along. I think those create the healthiest relationships.
Absolutely. I agree. Definitely feel like it's, like I said, it's a foundation. It only helps the relationship even more.
And it's crazy because like in the beginning when I first met you, like your relationship wasn't the strongest with family. No. And then I made, like, not to say that I'm the cause of it, but I made it a point, like, yo, like, and I shed a little bit of wisdom on you, and you were able to mend and reconnect, and
for sure,
and now look how healthy it is. Look how healthy everything is. It's just dope. Yeah. So if you are dating someone that probably doesn't have the best relationship with their family, and it seems like something that could be repairable or work through, I feel like as no a partner, as that person's partner, you should be pushing for the good relationship of their family.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what, you can always repair. There
Not
is
always.
not always.
There's toxic
Well,
family that you
yeah.
just got to stay the hell away
Well,
from.
yeah. Forgive me. Um, in a case like my situation, or in a way of like your family loves you and wants you the
Yeah.
best for you.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, there is very toxic and unhealthy families that I would not like. I would myself just not even deal with.
Right.
You know. Be open and honest about that too when you get into relationships as well, because when you're with a good man, that stuff matters, as you know, you've just heard here. Family matters.
Family matters. No Drake.
No, I don't.
That's Drake's diss to fucking Kendrick Lamar. Family matters. And then Kendrick responded with, I think it was
Oh, the baby
Meet the
girl.
Grams.
Yeah, that was crazy.
We're not talking
We're
hip hop. I'm not
we're
talking
not,
hip
you
hop
brought
with
it
you.
up.
I'm just saying,
We're not talking hip hop.
those were for the people who got it. It wasn't for you.
He swears I can't be in this conversation.
You can't be in this conversation. You don't even know that Drake
like,
and Kendrick Lamar are beefing
I'm
right
such
now.
a sweet, kind, loving gal. I don't live in that world.
Wait, do you know that Drake and Kendrick Lamar are
Yes, I know
beefing?
they're beefing right now.
So
Talking about his baby girl. I'm sorry, he's out of your world. Shit like that.
And this is why we are not talking about.
And here we
rap.
are talking about it. All right. Family, it's important.
Yeah.
Don't be like Drake. It's like, no, I'm kidding. No, family, like I said, as you guys heard a million times, I do agree with him. It's important. It will bring you only closer in your relationship. And so, what was your story about, like, that little situation or dating phase you were in where you didn't, with the family or whatever?
Well, not to get too personal, but
No, get personal.
I think when you have internal issues within your relationship and then you express those things to your family that don't know how to handle those kind of conversations, like I could talk to my brother about our relationship and he would never place judgment on you, or he would never he knows how to compartmentalize his emotions for you and for our relationship, and so like, but sometimes when you go and talk to family about personal things that are happening internally in your relationship, it can construe how they look at you. Yeah. So they start to look at you differently.
Yeah.
And they don't know the depths of maybe their own family member. Right. So if they don't know the depths of their own family member, and now their toxic ass family member is going to talk to them about certain things
and manipulate
it to where they are a victim.
Yeah.
Then the family starts to view you differently, and then they start to have a disdain for you. So that causes issues and problems, because at the end of the day, the partner that has to deal with the family is like, I'm not, you guys don't even know the depths of the person that is coming to you with this kind of information. Like, if you guys only knew, but sometimes family is blind and they only want to see what they want to see. So
yeah, I could agree. Honestly, I feel like I kind of can be like that with, if I'm hearing something about someone, I look at that person like that.
Right.
And I start to have like that judgment, and I start to look at them like, well, you don't treat them well.
Well, people don't tell stories from a perspective of their wrongs, right? So like, if I tell a story, I'll say like, yo, yeah, I kind of was being a dickhead, and I said this. Maybe how do you think I should have handled it? Should I have handled it like this?
And that's how you need to do it, especially asking for advice. I do that. I'd be like, this is what I did. I said this, I did that. I put it all on the table. I don't just be like, he did this.
And some people go and tell the story from a victim standpoint. And so now the family is saying that you're a victim, and obviously the partner is the bad guy, and or the bad girl, or whatever the case is. And it just ends up being a disaster, and it is just a recipe for disaster. So in my experience, that's what it was. And the whole time is like, when you have a perspective, or like you're able to look at life a little logically, and you could see different types of environments, and you kind of understand people. Like, yeah, I didn't care for her family, but it's only because it's just like I understood that they could never be at the mental capacity that I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I chose a very low vibrational person as a partner, so of course their family would be low vibrational as well. So why would I expect them to ever understand or be intellectual enough to comprehend what's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't. So I just kind of just never really engaged with them at all. And I kind of like my presence alone made them feel uncomfortable.
I was gonna say in general, I would just be uncomfortable.
Just my presence alone made them feel uncomfortable. Like if I dressed too nice, if I was a little bit, if I looked like I had money, they just looked at me like I was like stuck up or something, or like, you know, because
do you feel like that's older generation? I feel like that's like an older generation thing, and then they bring it on to like the newer generation.
I just think that just what the environment that you grew up in. Like if you're only in an environment that looks like that, that looks low vibrational, then when you see high vibrational, it offends you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the world will continue to show you why this person isn't for you, why their family isn't for you. So don't force situations that are just not met. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you have to go with a more flowing situation, you know? So, yeah, be aware when something feels unbalanced, unequal, uneasy. Don't force the situation, no matter how you feel might or might not be. Don't justify behaviors. And just always go with what's best with your soul and your heart. You know. But that's pretty much the end of our podcast. We're glad to be back. We're gonna keep dropping a lot more episodes weekly. We're gonna be on top of it a little more. We were just preparing for vacation, so we kind of put the podcast on hold for a little bit. But we're happy to be back. Stay tuned for the next podcast.
And you don't want to miss out because we gonna have some juicy stuff.
Yes, sir. Couple of J's. We're out.